Welcome to Undrafted Hockey Fan. I am Brad, and today we are going over a bunch of trades, or a trade, some rumors, some news, and it's NHL news. So stay tuned, man. I appreciate you. Joe, thanks for jumping in on the video. By the way, if you haven't checked out, the reason this video is called Day 2745 is because I have posted one podcast a day for every day for the last 27 days. It is a lot of work, but it's a ton of fun, and I've done interviews and everything. So if you want to check out any of those, definitely go check them out. And put the comments below what you want to see and what you want me to talk about. Like I said, I love talking about hockey. Clearly, I've done it for 27 days in a row. So let's just jump right into it, though, because I know you're here for the news. I know you're here for the notes. I know you're here for the rumors. So let's just jump into the first big one, which is the Colorado Avalanche trading for Mackenzie, Blackwood, as well as Givani Smith. So we'll just do it. It's a San Jose Sharks and a Colorado Avalanche trade. Again, Colorado trades for Mackenzie Blackwood. He's on the last year of his deal. And they also pick up Givani Smith, a depth forward, and a 2027 fifth-round pick. And going back in the deal is Georgiev at 14% retained. So Avalanche are retaining 14% of his salary, which is a little under $500,000, as well as taking back Nikolai Kovalenko and a 2026 second-round pick and a 2025 fifth-round pick. So basically, they swap fifth-round picks, basically. And they also the San Jose gets a second round pick back, and again swapping forwards, swapping goalies. So, and the reason this is such a great deal for both teams, honestly, is because Colorado is in their window. They are looking to win now, right? And so you're going to look for a goalie who's performing really well. And so if you look at Blackwood's numbers right for this season, right, even over his goals against average is pretty high, but he's got a 9.905 save percentage, which is, that's decent, right? That's pretty good, especially and for this season, though, he's got 3 goals against average again on the San Jose Sharks, which will definitely improve, and a 0.91 save percentage. So it's a goalie who's looking good, who is hot right now. And also, one of the other things that is a huge value for the Avalanche is that you are saving cap space. So you're actually gaining about $500,000 in cap space as well, which is huge, right? So you're saving, you're getting a better goalie, you're getting a better asset back, right? You're sending on a second round pick, but honestly, does a second round pick matter to the Avalanche right now? It does not. You're moving off of a Georgiev. You're moving on a second round pick, but again, you get a goalie back, right? And now you create a little cap space so that you can get a guy, maybe get a little bit better UFA back in the deal, or maybe that UFA costs a little less because you have a little more cap space. You have a team that can retain less on it. So that's huge. That's huge for Chris McFarland of the Colorado Avalanche to be able to do that. And I don't think this is the only move they're going to be making this year either. So if we're looking at what the Colorado Avalanche have left, they currently have $3 million in cap space, which is huge, right? And their deadline cap space should be around $3 million as well, a little over $3 million. So you're looking at a guy at, let's say they want to pick up a $6 million UFA. That's $6 million half retained. If they want to pick up a $12 million, I mean, that's not go crazy. But theoretically, if they wanted to pick up a $12 million UFA, let's say Mitch Marner is going to come to the Colorado Avalanche. He makes just a slight under $11 million. You could have a team like, let's say Columbus retains half of Mitch Marner, and then you have Toronto retains half. You have Colorado or Columbus retains half, and now you're getting Mitch Marner at like a little under $3 million. Like, absolutely take that guy, no doubt, right? So that's not going to happen. Toronto would not trade Mitch Marner, but that's an example of someone who could be traded at a high cap hit, and they could utilize this cap space for that type of player. So that is the Colorado Avalanche side of it. Going back is Alexandar Georgiev, who was traded from the New York Rangers to the Colorado Avalanche. He just has not found his footing in Colorado. Let's look at his numbers from last year, actually. So we'll look at this year. This year, he's got in 18 games, a 3.38 goals against average, which is worse than Blackwood on a better team. And he has a 0.874 save percentage, which is basically an AHL goalie. So that is one reason that you're trading away a guy. He just hasn't performed well this year. And you're like, man, can we take him to the playoffs? I'm unsure. So if you look at his first year in 22-23, when he was traded from the Rangers to the Avalanche, he played well in 62 games, which is a ton of games. It is full-blown like Hellebuck, like Shesterkin level, where they're playing a ton of games. He had a 2.63 goals against average and a 0.918 save percentage. That is phenomenal. He played so well. He had so many wins that season as well. And then in 2023-24, we started to see that fall off, right? In 63 games, similar workload, he had 3.0 goals against average, which means per game, he's letting an extra half a goal per game, which is tough to swallow. And now he's dropped below an average save percentage of, he dropped below an average 900 save percentage with a 0.897, just below 900, but below 900 is not good, especially last year. I know the scoring was up. Having a below 900 save percentage is not good for a goalie. And again, we're talking about below 900. Currently, this year he has a 0.874, so he's doing worse in less games. And he's a higher goals against average in 3.38. Again, he's letting in 0.4 more goals in than last year. So you're saying over a 2-year period, he's letting in almost a full goal in every game extra. And that's just not sustainable. That's not for a team that wants to be a playoff, not even a playoff contender. They want to be a Stanley Cup contender. So they make this move. It's early enough they can figure out if this is the right move, and then maybe they do need to trade for a goalie. This isn't their first time trading for a goalie. They also traded for Mackenzie Wedgwood. So you pick up Blackwood, you have Blackwood, you have Wedgwood, you have Miles Wood, just all the tree-based guys, and so they pick up Mackenzie Blackwood in this trade. They pick up Wedgwood in a trade from Nashville, right? Sending out a Noonan and a 6th-round pick. So again, this is a great pickup for Colorado. Again, I'm just emphasizing Colorado in this case. But what does San Jose get? They definitely try out the better goalie, right? They, in the sense of who wins, quote unquote, usually you pick who gets the better player. That's the winner, because you can't determine it based on the assets you get back, right? You kind of can, but overall, you don't know what those assets will turn out to be. It may be a dud of a 2nd-round pick, but overall, Colorado's winning this trade because they're getting the better player now, right? And again, so for right now, out of speculation, we're assuming that we don't know if the 2nd-round pick's going to hit, but you get that Georgiev, which is huge, by the way. And the reason they had Colorado retain as well is because that makes Georgiev a better option to potentially flip at the deadline for someone who needs a goalie. And you're like, well, why does Colorado retain? Why doesn't San Jose retain? Well, you're allowed 3 salary retained slots. And so with that, they already used all 3 of theirs. They're retaining on Brent Burns, who they traded to the Carolina Hurricanes, who's up this year. So that slot will be available next season. They traded Eric Karlsson now, who is with the Pittsburgh Penguins now. And again, they retained on that $1 million per year. I think it was $1.5 million per year. And they're also traded Tomas Hertl, and they retain on him as well. So you have all 3 spots taken up. So they can, and the reason they do that is, right, is you send out the person, you get better assets back, right? 1st-round picks and all that jazz, or maybe extra picks. And so by Colorado retaining on that, now he, instead of being worth the cap hit for Georgiev being $3.4 million, is now a little over 2.9. So saving that extra $500,000-ish helps make it a better asset, so that when, let's say, who needs goaltending? Well, Carolina needed goaltending for a little bit. Who else? Whoever needs gold. I mean, who would need goaltending right now? LA. I mean, they don't have a great goal. They have Kemper. I guess he's doing fine. Who's another goaltender? Who's another team that needs goaltending? Gustafson looks good. Who would be that? Islanders don't need it. Philadelphia, no. Washington looks good. Florida looks good. Tampa looks good. Who needs goaltending? But either way, if someone needs goaltending, let's say, here's an example. Let's say Winnipeg wanted to pick up a backup goaltender, just as an example, just in case something happened to Hellebuyck. You want a guy who can take over for Hellebuyck just in case, right? Georgiev could be that guy. I mean, that could be safe for any team that has a stellar goaltender, right? Edmonton. Let's go Edmonton, right? You have Skinner, and you have I missed his name, Skinner, and God damn it, who the fuck is his name? I gotta pull it up. I know he played for the Red Wings too, and I know I'm just burning time, and it's so stupid. Calvin Pickard. Goodness gracious, I didn't even see it. I'm trying to click through Puckpedia trying to find it. I think of Calvin Pickard. Let's say you want to upgrade from Calvin Pickard. Can you send Calvin Pickard back, or you keep him, you waive him, and put him down. You keep him on the roster, or you waive him and send him down to the minors. You pick up Georgiev, who probably is a better goalie than Calvin Pickard. Has a ton more starts, right? And then you keep him, and then you run him as a backup, right, just in case. So that's the idea. So that, and the nice thing is that Mike Greer originally traded for Mackenzie Blackwood. I think it was the year before. It was not last year, it was the year before, because is it? Let me see when the trade happened. Pull it up real quick. Because Mackenzie Blackwood had a great year. But looking back, he was traded in 2023. So it wasn't this past summer, it was the summer before. And they just gave him a 6th-round pick for him. And they signed him to a 2-year deal. So, which is great. So you trade out a 6th-round pick, and you're getting back a 2nd-round pick and a 5th-round pick, which is sweet. That's huge. So you already made money on that right there, right? You already got back more than what you expected. And then you could take Georgiev, maybe flip him for like a 3rd or a 4th-round pick, right? If he does really well with San Jose, you might get another 2nd. So you might get 2 seconds out of trading for Mackenzie Blackwood. That's what these trades work, and especially for a team that's tanking. Like, no one tanks, right? But if a team who is intentionally trying to focus on younger players and be bad and get better slowly, San Jose, that's huge for them. That's a great way to for them to grow, right? Now, and then we're moving on to the last piece. So they get back another piece, a guy who is, I think he's a UFA. He signed his ELC. He's a 4th-line right winger. He's not like a high value guy. He has signed an entry level contract back 2 years ago. He's at the end of his deal right now. Nikolai Kovalenko, who his dad is very famous as well, I guess, I think he was played with the Marlies or something like that. But right now in his career, 28 points. He started this year. This is his first year, his first full season actually in his career. So in 28 games, 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points. He's a -7. I mean, he's an asset you get back. Maybe you keep him, you flip him, you extend him. I mean, it's just an extra asset you get back. And again, the equivalent of, so you're trading Blackwood for Georgiev for Blackwood, right? Blackwood going to Colorado. And the equivalent, by the way, and I forgot to mention this part in the Colorado side of it, is that they also pick up Givani Smith. Givani Smith was pretty much an AHLer. I think he played mostly in the AHL this year. He was originally drafted by Detroit. He's 26 years old. He's a UFA at the end of the year, but he's an extra asset going back there and depth scoring. Last year played with the San Jose Sharks. Looks like he was injured. And he played with the Florida Panthers back in 22-23 when on their Stanley Cup run. I don't think he ended up making the Stanley Cups. He played one Stanley Cup playoff game. And then last year with the San Jose Sharks, 36 games, 4 points, and 40 PIMs. So he puts up some fights, man. And this year, he's only got 6 goals. He has 6 games, goodness gracious, and 0 points, but he's got 10 PIMs. So and he's basically playing, 6 minutes a night. He's just a 4th-line grinder guy. But he can fight, dude. It was he's 6'2", 214 pounds. Him and his brother can fight. I was so excited when the Red Wings picked him up. I brought him up. I actually just messaged him on TikTok as well because he started doing TikToks. So, it was a great little pickup from them. And then so with that, again, Givani Smith, again, just an extra guy, not gonna hurt it, right? Again, just some depth guy. And if you waive him, probably no one will pick him up either. So it's just another guy that maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. And it's just because you're looking, because again, Kovalenko is more of like he's putting up points in the bottom 4, but like bottom 6, but like maybe you don't need that. Maybe you need the tough guy. Kind of like when Colorado picked up during their Stanley Cup run, they picked up Josh Manson from the Ducks, and he was just a killer, and he does a great job. I mean, he's still doing a great job. And he fights and he hits hard, and Manson also puts up points as well. But Givani Smith can put up points. Hasn't yet, but he's definitely a grinder in that sense. And again, remind you, San Jose is also getting that 2nd-round pick, which is the big asset. It's 2026 2nd-round pick. So not this up-and-coming draft, but the year after. So good, absolutely stock draft picks. And they could take this and move up rounds, or, improve a 1st-round draft pick or trade for a player. So it's just another asset. And again, and they're swapping 5th-round picks. San Jose picks up the 2025 5th-round pick for the Avalanche. And the San Jose Sharks sent out their 2027 5th-round pick. So, I mean, it was a good little swap, but it'll be exciting to see how this all happens. And I think it's a great little trade, a great, smart, cheap pickup for the Avalanche as well. Again, why not? Why not try something like this? And this is it's the only team who has traded. I think it's the only team who has traded their starting lineup goalies. They're starting goalies before Christmas, which is crazy. It's so crazy. So they traded out both of them. Again, they traded out Noonan and they traded out Georgiev. It's all right. I love that. Just try something again. And if it doesn't work, you have the trade deadline. Go trade for someone that's doing well, right? Maybe they trade back for a Noonan. Maybe they trade, I don't know, they trade for Mrazek for who in Chicago. Like, I don't know, like whatever happens, like they can do stuff like that. So anyways, we're going to take our first quick break, and then we'll jump into a lot of news. We got a lot of news going today. We have the Rangers below expectations. That's kind of tough. We have a goalie debut, and he won, by the way. A new head coach. Bettman's talking CBAs, a retirement. One team's first in division, no big deal. So is their AHL team. So is their ECHL team. And then Florida's getting an outdoor game. But which Florida team? We'll let you know when you come back from the break. The 24-25 NHL season still has that new car smell, and the action is heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. Try betting on something simple, like picking a team to win. And of course, if you're listening to this, you're probably a Red Wings fan. You can definitely bet the puck line, the total, the money line, how many goals are going to be scored, over or under. Example is most of them are coming up is at like 6. So you can be like over 6 goals or under 6 goals. I mean, you can get all the action at Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers. Get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in New York. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit cpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive award. Bonus bet expires 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice. And we are back. Okay, let's jump into a couple things. We'll go in the reverse order because I just want to talk about the Rangers. Kind of like talking about some flopness that's happening here. Rangers are absolutely below expectations right now. Let's actually pull up the NHL standings right now because they are not doing hot, especially for a team who won the President's Trophy last year. Currently, as of 9:40 on Tuesday, December 10th, Rangers are out of a playoff spot right now. They're 29 points in 27 games. A better point percentage than the Flyers. Flyers have 2 games on hand, or have 2 games, played 2 more games than them. But 29 points, I mean, that's tough, especially with Carolina. Carolina having 35 points in the 3rd spot. So you're gonna have to be fighting for a wild card spot with the New York Islanders, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Philadelphia Flyers. So that's a tough sled right there. And so I'm curious because you see what's happening with Chris Drury and kind of the fall of it. I mean, we already had some huge talks, some huge rumors that came out. It was like November 24th, 25th, around there. Talks about a Trouba trade happens, by the way. Trouba gets traded to the Anaheim Ducks for Urho Vakanainen and a 4th round pick. So you're moving off of your captain. And since trading your captain last week, they're 1-2-0. And so you're seeing guys that are really struggling right now. Zibanejad is on pace for 61 points. Trocheck is on pace for 52 points. And mind you, there's some guys who are just not getting younger. I mean, Panarin is 33 years old. He has this year and next year left. And so you think, are you going to extend a guy who is that old? Like, you're not going to give him another 3, 4, 5 years, right? Like, you're probably going to be doing like performance bonuses or something like that. Like, I don't know. And in their last 10, they've won 2 games. I know it's funny. I have 8th in the East. They're actually, again, they're now 9th in the East. And in their last 8 games, and they were 2-6-0. They were outshot or outscored 31-21. So you're looking at a team, and I'm looking at it now. In their last 10, they're 2-5-8, and they're on an L2 right now. But they still have a plus goal differential because you have freaking Igor Shesterkin, one of the best goalies in the league. Who just signed a contract for $11.5 million for 8 years. I don't know if you like long contracts, but that is a long contract for a goalie who is arguably the best goalie in the world right now. I think Hellebuck's a little bit better, but I think that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think you took a deal. I think you took a deal to stay in Winnipeg. It was a steal. But yeah, New York Rangers can afford that much, and again, they move off like an $8 million player, so they can keep this guy. This guy named Shesterkin, and it's working out really well for them. I mean, he's been a great goalie, and Rangers fans, mind you, you should be so blessed. You had Hank for so long, Hendrik Lundqvist, and then suddenly you get this guy out of the fourth round. I believe it was fourth round. I mean, I gotta check this because that is so fortunate. And Rangers fans, again, you've had your cups, by the way. And again, this isn't taken away from your hard work. They play very hard. They do really well, but you've been very fortunate. There's some teams that don't even have that option. Fourth round pick in 2014, 118th overall. I mean, and again, it's not like he's huge. He's 6'1", a little under 200 pounds, right? So, I mean, Jesus Christ, that's awesome. So, anyways, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I mean, are the Rangers, are they going to miss the playoffs? I mean, I don't think they will because you have Shesterkin. I don't think Chris Drury's done. I think they're going to make some big moves. They talked about trading Zibanejad, which they can't do. They literally can't trade Zibanejad because he has a full-blown no movement clause. And so they can make things uncomfortable. So they can't even waive him. So the idea around a full-blown no movement clause is you can't be traded, sent to the minors, or waived without player approval. So you can do things in the arena to make him uncomfortable. And mind you, he has a full-blown no move clause for this year and the next 3 years after that. And mind you, if he decides to take on a trade, you have to find someone who's willing to take on, I imagine, because Rangers aren't going to want to retain for this year and 3 years after. If it's a team that's going to be willing to retain $8.5 million, which is crazy. Like, who's going to take on that? Who has the capability to take on that? It's very rare. I'll pull it up. Who could take on $8.5 million just straight up, right? Like, send nothing back. Let's assume nothing comes back, right? Just for argument's sake. We're looking at cap space, right? Current cap space. You can do Columbus, Calgary, Anaheim, Canadians, Kings, Utah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. There's 6 teams that would take on that just straight up. Mind you, Columbus, I don't know if they have the good enough assets to send something back, right? Maybe Provorov, maybe. That would take over. That would help with the Trouba spot, but you don't really need the offensive dynamo guy, right? Calgary Flames have plenty of good stuff. Maybe they trade for Rasmus Anderson or something like that. I'd be furious because I really want Rasmus Anderson. Ducks, I mean, they would take that on, but again, like you're going to need to pay more because they pretty much just took Trouba off your hands for you. And then you have Canadians. I don't know if they want Zibanejad. Like they're kind of good at center. You have Nick Suzuki, you have Doc, you have who else plays center there? Let's check it out real quick. We'll check it out real quick. Because I think it's Doc. Well, Doc was playing center, but I think they moved him off it. Do the Canadians have 2 first round picks? I thought I said 3 for a second. Jesus. Center, you have Nick Suzuki, Kirby Doc, Alex Newhook, Jake Evans. Okay, so like nothing too crazy. I guess maybe they could use Zibanejad, but again, does Zibanejad want to live there in Canada, in Montreal? LA Kings, they're not doing you favors. They're trying to make the playoffs. In Utah, also, I don't think he's going to do you any favors because they want to make the play. They want to make the playoffs as well. Whether their standings dictate that or not. Utah currently in the last 10, 5-4-1. They're currently 2 points outside of a playoff spot, and they got to beat Colorado and Edmonton to do that. Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's absolutely going to be tough. So it's definitely possible. And again, going over again, just the Islanders aren't going to do you any favors either, right? They're not going to take on that thing without a huge. I mean, unless you're sending back like Barzal or something like that. Like, but it's also that's also in division, so they're not going to be wanting to trade Zibanejad in division either. Again, this is all assuming that Zibanejad wants to move his no movement clause. And by the way, the reason I'm going through all these at first as well is because that's one of the hardest ones to move. You know who also they're trying to move is Chris Kreider. Supposedly, Drew's like, I want to turn down the heat on this, but you said it. You talked about it. You talked about how you were trying to trade Kreider, you're trying to trade Zibanejad, you wanted to trade Trouba. Like, it was just like it's pretty much it's a very big mess. And I'm just curious on like New York's a highly, it's New York, it's Manhattan, it's Brooklyn, it's New York, right? You're Madison Square Garden. It's epic. There is some nostalgia to it. There is it's an original 16. But when you're treating players like this, it's like, do they really want to come here? And so I'm just curious on how that's going to happen. I would say lastly, you have Chris Kreider. Again, he's $6.5 million. Again, assuming they don't retain, and mind you, he has a 15-team no trade clause. So looking at that, you have a lot more. You have a couple more teams that would be willing to take that on, or be able to take that on just straight up. Buffalo, San Jose, Nashville. Nashville would love him. Nashville, and of course the Rangers, who have the $7 million now because you know why? They traded their captain Jacob Trouba. So I mean, are the Rangers frauds? I mean, like, am I crazy? Are they just frauds? It was last year a one hit wonder. Like, I don't know. Like, it just kind of feels like it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to see that because I'm like, oh, dude, like Rangers were really good last year. It's like when you saw Florida was really good and went to the Stanley Cup Finals. You're like, oh, like are they gonna do it again? And they did, and they won, right? And they won. Rangers, they got cooked by the Florida Panthers. So how do they turn that around? I mean, you've already extended Lafreniere, you've extended Shesterkin. Like, do the Rangers? And the one thing I could see Rangers doing is kind of doing a retool on the fly, because mind you, they still have Philip Cheadle, they have Capo Caco, they have Alexis Lafreniere. Those are their forwards. You have Adam Fox, who's 26. You have Ryan Lindgren, who's 26. Keandre Miller, 24. Braden Schneider, 23. Like, now you have Eero Vakanainen. I guess that's a player, right? So you have a pretty young defense core, and you have a young offensive core, right? Let's say you move on from a Zibanejad, you move on for Kreider. Like, I don't know if you keep Trocheck, you might want to, maybe you keep him, so he's like a veteran third line guy. But you should have the salary and maybe bring in some younger guys. Like, I don't know, you bring in I don't know who, but like, let's see. Oh, Trevor Zegras. Let's say you trade for a Trevor Zegras, and you send back Mika Zibanejad, and like he's good to go for like the playoffs. Like, that could be a guy who could work out long term, right? Like you send Mika Zibanejad, a second round pick for I don't know if you can do it for a second round pick because of the full blown no movement clause for the rest of Zibanejad's contract till he's 30. Oh, goodness gracious. It's even longer. Oh my God. It's even longer. I thought it was this year and 3 years after this. It's even longer than that because it goes till 2030. How many years? 5 years. So you got this year and 5 years after this. And it goes from a full no move clause all the way to the end. And then becomes a modified no trade clause. Holy smokes. They're going to have him till he's 37. Oh, dude, good luck moving that contract. That would be so hard. Again, he has to approve it. So I don't know why he would. You're playing for the Rangers. It's pretty dang exciting. So I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Rangers, because I don't know what's going to happen. What's the plan with this? Like, I'm really curious because I'm like, who are they going to try and trade for? Like, who's a guy who's on a team who's not doing well that could thrive in a role of the Rangers? Like, and they can do big swings, right? They can do big swings now because of the captains they're trying to accrue. I think Trevor Zegras is definitely one that they could look to accrue or look to do. Maybe they go out and they pick up like a Stamkos or like a Martian show. Like those are options that you could do, right? And so I'm just curious. Let me know what your Taylor Hall. I do Taylor Hall. I think that'd be a pretty good pickup, actually. Taylor Hall. Yeah, I kind of like that. I think Zibanejad would look good in a Chicago Blackhawks jersey too. That Z name with that red jersey, I could see it. So we're going to do our next break, and then we will get back to the rest of the news and wrap this thing up. And yeah, so I'll catch you in a few minutes. You know what that sound is? That's the sound of ice skates skating on the ice at your favorite team's hockey game. You know, there's nothing like the excitement of being at a game, the crowd, the energy, the roar, the chants, the songs. It's just so much to it. And the best way you're going to be able to find an amazing seat and an amazing game is going to be at Game Time. Game Time also has this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff and shows you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. And my wife and I were actually end up going to a Detroit Red Wings game on December 2nd, I believe it is. That's one that we're looking at, and talk about a super deal. And you can actually find any concert tickets there. You can do comedy. There's so many different options there. They also have curated deals to make it easier to find the best deals on great seats. And also you can see the view of your seat before you buy. They have a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection as well. One thing I really enjoy about it is the all-in pricing. Toggle this feature to show the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. So you can also get a panoramic, again, talking about your view, it's a panoramic view. You can see the sea, not just like, well, look at the stage. You get the full panoramic view. And they also have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And so take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right, we're back into it. So let's head up for the rest of the news, and we will head out for the night. Sebastian Cossa makes his debut for the Detroit Red Wings, comes in relief for Ville Husso, who led it. I did cover this in yesterday's video with the I covered it with for the Red Wings. So Sebastian Cossa, 21 years old, drafted in 2021, 15th overall pick, who Eisman traded a first, second, and fourth round pick to move up in the draft. It was a huge move, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna pick Jesper Wallstedt. Of course, Eisman's gonna pick the Swede, of course, because Red Wings are known for Swedes. Now they pick a guy from BC, like he's actually from Hamilton, but he's playing in BC. I'm like, what are we doing, guys? And I had really low expectations for Cossa because I just was like, it didn't make sense to me. I trust the Swedish scouts so highly that I was like, why wouldn't you go with Wallstedt? That's what I get for doubting the Yzer plan, man. That's what I get. And he has flourished. And the one thing I would say, and it has been said because it happens, and I think I'm really excited to see. I don't know if he plays another game this year. He may be plays at the end of the year, but to me, he did a great job. He technically won the game because he played 2 of the 3 periods. After Husso let 3 goals in the first period, Cossa comes in the second period. He lets 2 goals in. So, you can see my leg. You can let 2 goals in, and so you're seeing 2 goals in the second period. You're like, oh damn it! Now it's 5-3. Detroit Red Wings are losing, and then Red Wings come back. They score another goal, and then Smartsider, bar down, pops it over Reimer, 5-5 at the end of the game, and then at the end of the game, 2 minutes and change left. It's like 2 minutes and 16 seconds. It's like just at the end of the game, Smartsider takes a holding or tripping penalty. It was soft. It was pretty soft, I'll be honest. And Red Wings are 31st in penalty kill in the league. And I was like, you gotta be motherfucking kidding me. I was like, you serious? Like, this is blasphemy. It's blasphemy. And so I was like, oh, they lost the game. They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose Buffalo. They kill the penalty and they take it to overtime. And no shots are shot on either team. Neither team shoots or is able to get a shot off. One Buffalo player takes it down and hits for a breakaway on Cossa and hits the right post. And I was like, I started believing in God again. And so I was like, Jesus Christ. And so they, how funny as I say Jesus Christ. And then I grew up Catholic. It's okay. And so Cossa does a shootout and everything. So you have Raymond, or they send Thompson down. Thompson misses. Raymond goes down. Raymond scores. Ravens are up 1-0. Raymond scores. And then you have GJ Paterka goes and he misses. Ooh, dude, if Patty Kane's coming up for the second, if he scores, Mr. Showtime, if he scores, we win this game. He goes wide. He shoots wide. I'm like, mother, god damn it. And mind you, it's you have 3. So now Buffalo's put on the third guy. If they don't score a goal here, then they lose. And you put up Alex Tuck, original misfit. Alex Tuck comes down, pockets it, puts it in the net. It is now 1-1 in the shootout, but Red Wings have Larkin. They have Dylan Larkin, Mr. Captain, Mr. Detroit, Mr. Detroit, and he comes in and he dekes the jockstrap off of Reimer. He goes pop, 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 right leg kick, pulls, boom, left, backhand, pops it. Dude slides it right over the ice or over the ice. and just completely dekes out Reimer. And of course, he knows Reimer because he played with him last year. So he just dangled the jockstrap off him. It was a thing of beauty. Sebastian Cossa becomes the first goalie in history to win in his NHL debut via shootout and in a relief effort. So that was the other key. It was a relief effort as well. And so, of course, Sebastian Cossa already coming in and making freaking history. So love to see that. For a team that was already struggling, I'm curious if they play him on, depending on the viability and Talbot and Lyon and whether they're healthy. I don't know if they put him in against the Flyers. It could be. You have Matvei Michkov has 27 points in 27 games, so I'm kind of like, do you want to do it against him? But I could definitely see them trying him out, and then once Talbot or Lyon gets healthy, you send him back down. He is up on emergency conditions right now, so that is the one thing that I'm like, okay, well, if he's in emergency conditions, when does it not become an emergency, you know? So we'll see. Sebastian Cossa, again, did a great job. Great job. I love to see that. So we'll talk about a couple other things. You have the first Swedish-born head coach was hired. He's the interim. So Luke Richardson gets fired from the Chicago Blackhawks. They move up as an interim coach, Anders Sorensen, who's the first Swedish-born head coach in the NHL, which is huge. I mean, that's huge history already. And already he has his first win against who did we talk about? The New York Rangers. Beats out the New York Rangers 2-1. I mean, God, geez, the Rangers are struggling, especially you're struggling against the Chicago Blackhawks, who are not having a good year, by the way. Connor Bedard looks great still. But they're just not having a good year. Just they get pick up all these UFAs, and you're like Bertuzzi's not looking as great. Like Hall is not looking as great. Like you pick up Brody, you pick up Teuvo Teravainen. Like it's just we'll do a review of them as well and kind of see what their status is. Again, they're still retooling, rebuilding. And I mentioned this before, and I said this before about Chicago. I'm talking about Chicago now, but was not planning on this. But I said this before about Chicago. I said they got Bedard too early. I said, well, you can't. You're getting a star too early, such that you're going to try and build around him, and it's kind of like you want to build the auxiliary pieces. You want to draft a guy in the first round that takes 2 years, or a couple guys in the first round. Maybe one comes in the NHL after a year. The next one comes in after like 2 years, right? And you're kind of slowly filling these guys in as like a year or 2, 3 goes by, and then you hit a lottery pick in the third, fourth year, and then that's when that star who's drafted in the same year, and he starts in the NHL the same year that he was drafted, and you have all these auxiliary young guys around him to kind of move up together as one piece. That's what you would like to see, but didn't happen. You should get Connor Bedard, going to be a generational talent. He's phenomenal. He's very impressive. I'll be honest. He's phenomenal with the stick. So, I mean, I'm not mad. I'm not sad for Chicago at all. I think they should have. I will rant to Chicago. I don't want. This is not the time to rant about Chicago. So, but we're going to talk about a couple other things. Bettman talks that CBA negotiations are to start in February, but there's already been some topics and some regular dialogue happening around some of the things that they're looking to bring up. I think there's one thing that we talked about is this Trouba trade, and that he has supposedly he had Anaheim on his no trade list, and he had to waive it so that he could be traded to Anaheim, or he was going to be put on waivers. And supposedly that, to me, and some people that are talking that I'm hearing from, is that is cap circumvention, because you're asking a guy to waive something when he has it in his contract. So I think the solution supposedly would be that if a guy has let's say a 15-team no trade, we'll just do 10, make it easy, a 10-team no trade list, and you put him on waivers, those 10 teams cannot pick him up on waivers as like you can't pick him up. Sorry about that. I hit my mic off. It can't unplug. Anyways, so the idea would be that, like, if you have 10-team no trade list, you can't be traded to those guys. You can be waived and picked up by those teams because they're on your no trade list or no waive. Like, you're not going to go to those teams. Like, you've chosen these teams, you got it in your contract, and then you couldn't go to them. The issue I see here is that currently, so right now Trouba has a 15-team no trade list. He utilized it to not be traded to Columbus. And then he decided to waive it so that he could go to Anaheim. The difference here is that currently we don't know who is on whose team's trade list right now. And so does that make their trade list, I do not want to be traded to this team, open, right? Are we going to see that the team with that the most players have on their trade list? Is it Buffalo? Is it Columbus, right? Is it teams like those where they don't want to be traded to them because maybe they're just not in the right position? Like, maybe the guy wants to win now, or like they don't like the area. Like, so are we going to see that like teams like maybe like Florida, Nevada, Nashville, Dallas, all teams that have a tax-free, no income tax? Are those on the least amount of trade ones? Are they on them at all, right? And so that's kind of one of the things you're going to see is you're going to break that privacy, and you're going to see that some teams are going to be at a straight up disadvantage in that case. And because people are not putting it on there because they're not a desirable location. Now, mind you, there's teams like the Edmonton Oilers. I think there's right now with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Weather-wise, Edmonton's not really it. There's not as much around as there is like New York City or LA or Chicago, right? Where those are massive cities and those are like destination cities, right? And so you could see that could be an issue for some teams who haven't had perennial success, right? So, and we'll see. I'm really curious. And then maybe that goes to the point where it's like, okay, maybe the trade lists are open. So then now teams that if you're a no state income tax team, like maybe your salary cap is lower because of that. It's just something to consider with those. With the CBA negotiations, there's a ton of things that can happen, and we'll see what's fair. But let me know what your thoughts are down below, because I'm curious if you have any CBA negotiations. CBA, by the way, is collective bargaining agreement, which is the agreement between the players and the owners. It's standard when it comes to unions. So there's a player union, and then the person who runs the quote unquote union of the owners is Gary Bettman. He's a representative of all the owners, which is why he's such a dick sometimes. So we'll see. I'm really curious on that. Let me know your thoughts below. We do have a retirement. Kevin Shattenkirk is officially retired from the NHL, and he played 952 games in the I haven't shitter, not Shattenkirk. There you go. Pull up it. Well, I think he played with the Boston Bruins most recently. He doesn't currently have a contract. Currently 35 years old, defenseman, 6 foot. I almost said 6 o'clock. Goodness gracious. I had 24 points, 61 games with the Boston Bruins. Played with the Ducks, Tampa Bay Lightning, New York Rangers, Washington Capitals, St. Louis Blues, Colorado Avalanche, and this guy's been around, and good for him, man. He killed it, and especially as a first round draft pick in 2007, man. Who was 2007? Like, I'm curious who's even playing. Patty Kane was first overall. He's still playing. James Van Riemsdyk is still playing. Sam Gagne's still playing, kind of. Logan Couture, he's injured, but he's kind of playing. Ryan McDonough's still playing. Like, there's some guys that are still playing here and everything, which is awesome. I love that, dude. So, this is great. I love this. So, I get to see a couple of those guys in the 2007 draft. It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy the guys that are still playing, dude. I love it. Anyways, and then lastly, a organization, I'd say, that is doing really well. You can see right now, currently, going to the standings, the Washington Capitals are currently first in their division, the Metropolitan Division. 27 games played, 40 points. That's ahead of the New Jersey Devils, who have played 3 more games, and ahead of the Carolina Hurricanes by 5 points, who have played the same amount of games. And mind you, that is without Alexandar Ovechkin. They're currently 7-2-1 in their last 10. I mean, Capitals are so hot, and again, they don't have Ovechkin yet. They don't, like, he's out. He's injured right now, and they're doing phenomenal without him. And I just can't wait to see when they get him back. It's just going to be chaos, and I'm all for it. And I love the moves they make. They're currently tied with the Minnesota Wild and the Winnipeg Jets for the league. So they're like top in the division and top of the league. Then you go to the Hershey Bears, who are also their AHL, the Washington Capitals AHL affiliate, who are first in their division. And then you go, man, like, that is amazing that both organizations are just doing so well. And it's like, because usually you see like the NHL teams not doing well or starting to do well. And then you have the AHL team is like doing really well because all the prospects are starting to pop off and they're moving up to the big club, or they move some prospects up to the big club that the AHL team starts to do shit. Well, not only is the NHL team doing well, the Washington Capitals, the AHL team doing well in the Hershey Bears, you have the South Carolina Stingrays in the ECHL, who are also, well, you guessed it, number one in the division. So just a huge organizational, great push for them. Great for them to get all in unification and doing super well. And we'd love to see that. And that is phenomenal. I love what the Washington Capitals do. They're doing a retool on the fly properly. If you want to see improperly, you look to the Pittsburgh Penguins right now, who are flailing and starting to try to make some moves. It may be a little bit too late because they have so many those big contracts. So we will see what Kyle Dubas can do. But I love what Washington's doing. They trade for like Mangiapane for a second round pick. They trade for Jacob Chikrin, send out Nick Jensen, right? You trade Kemper, but you bring in Pierre-Luc Dubois. You're like, let's try it. Why not? We don't have enough centers, right? You pick up Dylan Strome in free agency, like that was great, So there's a ton of really good things. You pick up Rasmus Sandin in that trade, where you trade out Gustafson and a first round pick for Rasmus Sandin. When you took in that first round pick that you got by trading out Orlov and Garnett Hathaway. So they trade out guys that were working really well and doing well. And then again, while Ovi is still under contract, and again, sits under contract, but we'll see if he wants to stick with the team those next 2 years. So, and lastly, finish up with the Florida Panthers, the most recent champion of the Stanley Cup. They are currently going to be getting an outdoor game next season at the Lone Depot Arena, which is where I forget who plays there. I'd have to look. Let me pull it up on my phone real quick. And which is great because you can actually, now they're going to show you can do an outdoor game in a warm place, which is where the Miami Marlins play. So, which would be really cool. We've seen these before where they do these baseball stadiums, outdoor games, and they're really cool to see it in a hot place, which is huge. So I'm really curious on how it's going to go because when are you going to do it? Are you going to do it in like February or March, I assume, because it's going to be cooler. But we'll see. I'm excited to see how it happens because you see a thriving market in the Florida Panthers. It used to not be a destination spot, and it is currently absolutely a destination spot for these players. So, anyways, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Hit like, subscribe, tell your friends, share it. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I love you so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.